is the fourth trading session of the week. Is the 8th of September. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the show. I am Bosin Omofaye. This is how the markets finished off across a number of African exchanges on Wednesday. Again, the global stock market was buffeted by the whole geopolitical issues between Russia and Ukraine war and the West, in particular the United States. The Russian president accusing the United States and the West of going for what you called dictatorship in terms of sanctions brought against Russia because of that unprovoked aggression in the Ukraine. So the stock market took a bit of buffeting. The Nigerian stock market down by just 0.02%, but the banking sector was sold off in the main, despite some earnings that we saw from second-tier level banking names such as Fidelity Bank. Now, the BRVM sidestepped a couple of other frontier markets in Africa yesterday by 20 basis points. That's the composite, printing 204.62. The Egyptian market fell by 94 basis points, has a whole lot of better correlation with foreign investors. And the same goes for the Nairobi Securities market, which was down very sharply, 2.19%. And the South African market, the GSE fell by 1.22%. Investors were upset that Discovery in South Africa says it will not be paying ordinary dividends, while Tiger Brands shares were also down. And of course, there are a bit of issues with ShopRite. So quite a bit of this corporate news, knocked the GSE into the negative territory on Wednesday. Financial services, the industrials, as well as the resources indices finished in the negative territory. So let's just take that out of the way and look at stories making the headlines. The Kenyans are now moving ahead as the Supreme Court already decided that William Ruto, who was elected at the August 9th elections, will be the next president of this big East African country. The U.S. is giving the DR Congo an additional $13 million to prepare for their own elections in 2023. Nigeria will also be going for a general election in 2023. And Kenya's issue with costly fuel imports has raised the country's half-year trade deficit January to June to about 818 billion shillings. While Uber says it wants to give more income to drivers in Kenya by allowing them 25% off cab shares. And Ethiopia has banned local trading in foreign exchange in order to tighten more control, stabilize the local currency, and safeguard the little effects that this 110 million second most populated country on the African continent has in its kitty. That was the latest announcement since the start of the week. So FX it's been controlled. It's been introduced in Ethiopia. We saw a bit of that also in Ghana as the country also tried to save the cedi, which is down roughly 36% since the start of the year 2022. Then Kenya's transactions around mobile money, what you know as Momo, was up roughly 20% year on year within the first 7 months of this year. Quite a whole lot of big market when you consider what Safaricom and other players bring to the table within the East African largest economy. Let's move quickly to Nigeria. Quite a day on the Nigerian Exchange Limited yesterday, with the Lagos Free Zone closing the market for the trading day, floating 25 billion naira bond of a 20-year paper on the market. All the parties were there: Stanbic IBTC Capital, as well as InfoCredit, which provides a backstep to this particular big offering, a very unique infrastructure, logistics infrastructure for Free Zone that is done on the backwaters of Lagos, Nigeria's economic nerve center. The MTN is also on the market, selling 23 billion naira in short-dated commercial paper to investors. This offer comes as MTN was paying dividend on the shares that it sold last year to retail investors and paying an interim dividend for the first 6 months of this year. Ghana's $3 billion deal with the IMF is likely to be concluded before the end of the year. That's according to the head of the IMF, Kristalina Georgieva. And Senegal is reporting a GDP growth in the second quarter, a robust 3.6%, while bigger economies such as South Africa went into a contraction of a 0.75%, according to data that came through on Tuesday. And UBA in Cameroon, the subsidiary, UBA is headquartered in Nigeria, by the way, the subsidiary in Cameroon says it's transferring those client shares that were listed on the BVMAC, which is the acronym for the Central Africa's Stock Exchange, Central Exchange, like the BRV in West Africa, is transferring those shares now to Attijari Securities Central Africa. That's how the deal is gone, because UBA does not have a license to operate a brokerage firm in Cameroon like other companies. That's the financial markets news across West Africa. Let's touch with Southern Africa, because again, I talked about the news around Discovery. Of course, shares slumped yesterday 10%. On the back of that news, that there will be no payment of ordinary dividends to shareholders. In the meantime, the headline economic news came around the business confidence in the third quarter, which came to 39 reading from 42 because of the power outages by Eskom, and those outages are now back in play. That's the news. By the way, so South Africa's economy was shrunk by 0.7% in the second quarter, is likely to see another upside in the third quarter on the back of those outages. And again, for the second quarter, that massive catastrophic flooding around the KwaZulu-Natal region in Durban, South Africa, which affected virtually everyone. Lives were lost. Companies were counting their losses, including big names such as Toyota, which shut down its manufacturing plant for a number of weeks. So, Cyber City project, Zimbabwe is going ahead with the building of a new city, just the way the President El-Sisi is doing in Egypt with a new Cairo. Well, so Zimbabwe wants a new city, comes at roughly 30 billion US dollars. It's going to be massive project, but Zimbabwe says it's going to be a cyber city, a new city, completely different from Harare, which had been the country's political capital for many decades. And Zambia's Eurobonds is tumbling in terms of yield after that $8.4 billion debt relief request was made to creditors. President Hichilema is enjoying the whole friendship or handshake with the club of creditors around the world, including China, as he tries to clean up the administration of the previous government and try to look at the debt book and put Zambia on a new horizon. The Kwanzaa has been performing and returning back into some strength. That's also impacting the stock exchange also in Lusaka. So I'm wrapping it up, as always, in North Africa. Let's check in a few news around Morocco, Egypt, as well, with Egypt infrastructure and water exposition. Like a trade fair will be taking place in June next year. Egypt is looking to attract about $169 billion in investment through those that conference and exhibition. That's something to look out for by June 2023. And the UNFPA says has signed off on the cooperation program with Morocco in the 2023-2027 period, part of the country's development plans. And Morocco's OCP, which is one of the world's largest fertilizer producer, reported a turnover growth of $5.29 billion in the first half of the year, January to June. And since the Russian invasion of Ukraine, there's been a pressure in terms of fertilizer. Now, Morocco's OCP has revved up its own production, and output is growing, and more markets, of course, because of the issues around supply chains for bringing fertilizer to countries around the world and regions such as Africa. Morocco OCP is now filling that particular gap. And finally, in Digital Development Agency of Morocco and MINSAT has launched what you call a data sharing platform that will enable everyone to see what is going on, provide more efficiency and transparency in terms of the data that is available for everyone, and protect our subscribers and other users. And that's about it for this morning. It's Thursday, the 8th of September. Keep that in mind. I'll see you next time. Have a great day, everyone.